everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name's Amina and today I'm talking about something that I really struggled with. I think I am going back to work. Well, I just went back to work after a year on maternity leave. In the UK, we have 12 months off where we're allocated 12 months off. Most people take between 9 to 12 months off before returning back to work. I took the full 12 months, of course, but I did find lots of challenges. And I think, the fact that we were stuck in lockdown and we still are, for all of it, definitely attributed to the majority of the issues that I felt during the year. But also I felt anxiety returning back to work, and I had never really heard anyone speak about it. Most of my friends that have babies had it like literally days apart from me, and I'm one of the first to go back to work now. So it's not something that I'd ever talked about to anyone, and it's not something that I've really heard anyone speak about online, or like most people I know online work from home, work for themselves, so haven't really transitioned back into the workforce. And so I feel like it's a really important conversation to have, and I thought I would come on here. Now I've been back to work I think about a month now, so I feel a lot more confident in where I am at the moment, but I definitely felt so much anxiety, and for me that's not normal. Like, I'm usually quite confident and I take things up for my stride, and so I didn't think that I'd feel like that. And so anyway, I thought I'd talk about that in this video. And if you want to hear me talk about it and you want to kind of give your own experiences, then definitely leave me a comment down below. I post every Wednesday and Sunday, and if you want to see more videos from me, then definitely check out my channel, and don't forget to subscribe to see more from me. So my maternity leave was like the polar opposite of what I had expected. I found out I was pregnant in summer, well, the end of summer 2019, so I had just come back from Malaysia when I found out I was pregnant. I was pregnant on holiday, but I didn't know. Yeah, I had such massive dreams and expectations. I just couldn't wait. I romanticized maternity leave. Like, I don't know what I expected. Just even forget lockdown, just in general. I just thought it was like a year off. You can only imagine sort of, I haven't taken a single break in life in terms of academia or work. And so I was like, yeah, maternity leave, that's just a year off. That's just a year chilling at home. And that's literally the reality that I thought I was gonna be living. And my friends, there's 5 of us who were pregnant at the same time. One gave birth 3 or 4 days before me, and then I gave birth, and another one gave birth 2 days after me, and another one gave birth like a month after, another month after. So when I found out everyone was pregnant, I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I'm gonna be able to like gallivant around London, baby swimming, baby clubs, like genuinely, that was what I had in mind. Oh yeah, holidays. I had romanticized it so much to the point where I think my expectations were like up here anyway. And then in February last year, 2020, was when everything started going down, and that was when I was like 7-8 months pregnant, and it was quite a scary time. No one knew what it meant for a woman if she was pregnant. No one knew like the danger. There was one woman who had it. I'm not gonna say the name because I think I'll get demonetized. There's one woman who had it, in that pregnant woman, like that was in the world, and I remember it was reported about her, and I think her and the baby was fine, so that put me at ease a little bit, but that's one person. So yeah, it was just a really scary time, and I think no one really knew what the virus meant, what it did, what impact it had on a pregnant woman or unborn child. And so we just isolated for like 2 months before I gave birth. And then even the whole giving birth process, I've talked about it before in my labor story, but like the whole, just being by yourself and everything was just really, I think, definitely not what I had expected. So then comes the maternity year. For some reason, I mean, I'm sure we all thought the same thing. We all thought, yeah, this would be gone in a couple of months. I was like, yeah, sure, by summer, like it'll be gone, as if it just disappears. But then the biggest thing was the fact that there was like social isolation. You've just given birth. You need support, not just from your parents or your siblings or your husband. Like, you need kind of support from other women who've given birth as well, just so you can be like, my baby's doing this. Is this normal? Does your baby do that? And you can kind of just like, yeah, my baby does that too, and kind of just laugh about it as opposed to worrying sick. I spent so long Googling things. Like, he would make like a noise at night, and I would like grunting noise at night, and then say things like colic and like respiratory, and I'm like, oh my god, he's got this thing, but actually he's absolutely fine. But had I just like asked someone or like had spoken to someone, it would have been absolutely fine. But that social isolation, I think, was definitely really difficult, and definitely led to like a lot more anxiety than I had expected. We also had like very little professional support, obviously, after giving birth. I had an amazing midwife, but after I'd given birth, that was basically, we were just like ditched. We had, I think, 2 healthcare visitor phone calls, and and one was like about mental health, and she was like, you know, how are you feeling? Are you okay? Are you supported? I'm like, yeah. Obviously, yeah, you know, I was fine, but if I had a mental health issue, I wouldn't declare it on the phone like that. What if someone was listening in the background? What if I didn't feel comfortable? Like, I couldn't see her face. I don't know who she is. She could just be a random person for all I know. So it was quite, I think it was quite professionally as well, quite isolated, and like there was basically no support. And ever since I think his 2nd month birthday, I haven't heard from them. So like they don't even know what's happened to my child and if I'm okay and if we're all okay. So that was also a lot to deal with, because you're just like, is my child okay? Am I doing the right thing? And you're just kind of guessing along the way with like very little support. And then the second like challenge I felt during my maternity leave was being aware that Sufyan wasn't getting the external environmental exposure that he normally would have got. So, you know, normally he'd have seen people come over, he'd see faces, he'd be going out, he'd be exposed to the environment, he'll be, you know, like looking at people, going to like nursery, library, like different places. He literally saw 2 faces for a year, pretty much almost. So that to me, I was a bit worried about it. Not because he's not gonna learn, like he's obviously gonna learn, but it was more the attachment side of things. I really thought he would have like a crazy attachment and I wouldn't be able to go back to work, and it would be really difficult, because I just thought, well, he's not seeing anyone else, he's not interacting with anyone, he doesn't even know there's another person. How is he gonna be able to like leave me and I can go to work in, you know, a couple of months time? And that was like a huge worry. So one of the things I would do is I would go out for walks every single day, and I'd put him in a baby carrier, but make him like face the world as soon as his neck was strong enough. So like after 6 months, make him world face, and also in a pushchair, make him face in the world. What that meant was I'd kind of just like sit down on a bench and just like let him look, and so he can see that there's like white people and black people and like tall people and short people and, you know, just different kinds of people. I genuinely felt like he wouldn't see anyone for I don't know how long. Like we're still in lockdown now and he's almost a year old, and yeah, I just didn't want him to be scared of things later on when he realizes that not everything looks like me. Yeah, that was a huge deal. And just like pointing out animals, and like when we go out, just like pointing out that there's a duck, there's a swan, there's a bird, there's a pigeon, and I'll like be really explicit on like pointing these things out. He knows that there's like animals in the world. One way around this would be, obviously you've got a TV and you can put a TV on, but I didn't really want to do that in the beginning, and even now I just put it on when I'm doing some bit of work and I need like 10-15 minutes. I think we got loads of books for him as well, and he tends to sit down and like flick through books, point at like the characters more than anything else, which is still, I guess, exposure to something. But that was a huge worry for me. There were so many highlights. Obviously there were challenges, but there were highlights. Oh my gosh, there were so many highlights in my maternity leave year. When I thought about maternity leave pre like even marriage, I always thought during that year I want to do something big. I know that you're probably thinking having a baby is a big thing. Yes, I'm not denying that, but I mean, like, I want to use that year to launch something. I want to use that year to set something up that will allow me to work from home in the future, or that will allow me to be a little bit more flexible in the future. As much as I love a career, I love work, I love academia, I love all these things, obviously, I also think that as a mother I've got a huge responsibility to be there and, you know, to raise my children, but to have a balance. I never want to be at home all the time, because I don't think that's healthy for me or your child. I do want to have a balance where I can be at home and I'm still making enough money, support myself, and also I'm doing something that I can be proud of, like for myself. And so when I was on maternity leave, I launched the Page Doctor. And if you don't know, the Page Doctor is an academic consultancy that helps students from literally anyone. I've helped 60-year-olds get back into university and 16-year-olds write their essays. And it has been such a success. Like, I could leave work. That is what level it's at. I could leave work. Me and my husband could both leave work comfortably. And I love that. That is what I've been able to start off in my maternity leave. And it was difficult. Like, I did it during when he was napping, when he was asleep, at night, just like random times during the day. I would just sneak off and do a little bit of work. It was so worth it. We currently have 15 freelancers that work for us, which is crazy. Like, we are employers. That is crazy. I'm an employee and I'm also an employer. And we're not talking. We've paid a developer. We've paid him to redevelop, completely revamp, like relaunch the Page Doctor, and it's currently in the works. We've got an updated email today with templates, and oh my god, guys, I was so emotional looking at it. Like, it's crazy to think, you know, that's something that I've launched during my maternity leave when I'm supposed to be like put my feet up and just like feeding my child. That was a huge success. And then I also hit 100k on YouTube. You can see my plaque over there. That was something I've been working for years, like 2 or 3 years, I think, since I've been in YouTube. Hit 100k, which was such a huge moment as well for me. And then I also was awarded the YouTube Black Fund, which again, I was like, what? It was crazy. That was all in literally, I don't know, 6 months or something. I was on 2 billboards billboards in White City, Westfield, just outside. I was on 2 billboards, one for the YouTube Black Award and then another one for, I was on a billboard with Dina Tokyo as well, which was crazy. She chose me to be her like partner for this YouTube challenge thing, and I was on a billboard for that as well, which is crazy to think. That was all last year. And then lastly, I also managed to develop a Skillshare course, which is, you can check it out, I'll put it over here. It's a course that is all about thesis writing and academic writing in general. I had always wanted to develop it as an ebook or like a PDF book, but I just didn't have the time, and I don't know, I just didn't prioritize it. I guess I thought, I'm a perfectionist, so I just was like, well, if I can't get it perfect, I'm not gonna do it. And then in the end, I had an opportunity to use a studio, and so I was like, okay, fine, I'm gonna go for it. Planned it out in like 2 weeks or a week or 2 weeks, filmed it, edited it myself, and then yeah, it's out. And every single month, it makes such a good revenue, like such an amazing side income when I'm not touching it anymore. So I definitely want to like do another course. So many of you messaged me to say that you have used it and you find it useful, and I absolutely love that. Like I love that something that I did and I've always wanted to do has been so useful for so many of you. And yeah, that was another thing I managed to do during my year as well. And off the back of that, I've been contacted by 2 course administrators, one for a postgraduate course for dentistry, which is crazy. I did it the other day. I created and filmed a course for academic writing to be presented to dentists, like professional dentists, and so I'm going to be teaching on a postgraduate course. What? And then also I've been contacted by another huge, I'll tell you guys later, but another huge online academic company who have also commissioned me to create a course. So yeah, that's all off of the back of Skillshare. Not just Skillshare, but like off of the back of making a course and showing my ability and like what I have to offer, and also obviously my channel as well. So that was super exciting. That was definitely a huge highlight. And I think, you know, lots of mums message me and say like, one of the things that I feel like I've lost is myself. One of the things that I feel like I have always been told that I'm not able to exploit is my own goals and like what I want to do. And actually what I say to that is, without being insensitive, you know, I had sleepless nights until he was like 7 months old. He only started sleeping, even now I wake up once every single night. So it's not that I had it easy or like anything was easy at all. I had it tough, but it's all about knowing how to maximize the opportunity that you have and being able to be productive and be able to have a goal and set a target for yourself and work slowly towards those targets. It took me a year to make a 4-page website. I'm not saying these things come easy. The Page Doctor wasn't an overnight thing. It took me a year to design the website because I would do like 5 minutes when he slept, 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there. It took me a year. It took me probably 2 or 3 years of editing to even think about launching the Page Doctor. So these things are not overnight successes. These things are things that you build slowly. And I'm not gonna sit here and say, I launched this in my maternity leave and now it's doing amazing. No, it was a year before that, 2 years before that. The Skillshare course was like 3 years in thinking. Start from somewhere, have an idea in mind, have something that you want to do. And you know, if you happen to be on maternity leave and that happens to be the 1 year you get off in life, then use that to your opportunity. Like, I know it sounds crazy when I say, oh yeah, it's like a year off, but it is a year off for me unless I quit my job. I would never be able to just have a year where I can wake up when I want to wake up, sleep when I want to sleep, do what I want to do, obviously with my child, but like, I will never get that. So for me, that year was so important. I was able to not just obviously nurture and look after my child, but also use that to benefit my own life goals. And the last thing I want to talk about is anxiety returning to work. And this is a conversation I feel like hasn't been spoken about much, or maybe it has, but I'm in the wrong circles. I'm still young. I guess no one, like people around me haven't had kids yet, but I think, you know, I'll go back to work. Oh, it'll be cool. I just got a baby. I'll just deal with like, you know, the childcare side of things, and that's fine. Just pay for that. No big deal. I never thought about my personal reaction and my personal feelings towards it. Like, oh yeah, mum guilt. I don't feel mum guilt. Like there's no mum guilt. I'm happy. Like I'm happy to go back to work. Obviously I miss my child and I get pictures sent all the time, but there's no mum guilt. Like it's good for him to be away from me and it's good for me to be away from him for my own personal sanity and for his development. So there's no mum guilt there. But I definitely felt like when I thought about him not being with me all day, like there was like that sadness of, you know, I'm gonna miss him and I'm not gonna be able to, but just the little things, you know, the little things that put him to sleep, feeding him, all these kind of things. That was one thing that I thought I would be like totally okay with, but I still miss him till today. Also, the other side of things was like just feeling inadequate at work, feeling like I've missed out on a whole year of like professional development, development, of just being a professional in general. Like, I've been working for the whole year, but I've been working for myself. Like, I haven't had to answer to anyone, I haven't had to be on time, I haven't had to have meetings, I haven't had to do anything. So just that professional mentality was a struggle. And then on top of that, when I left work, it was absolutely normal, like the whole world. And then now it's not. So then there's that side of things as well, not knowing like how things are done now, and not knowing how you move on from what's going on in the world right now. So there was also that anxiety as well, and I think it was quite hard to balance the two. What I did was, because I'm still breastfeeding him, I'm gonna wean him off soon. What I've been doing is, ever since like last summer, I would always pump a little bit extra. So I'd pump, put it in the freezer. So I ended up with like lots of bags of milk in the freezer, just like literally from like 8 months ago in the freezer. And then I would give those bags to my mum, who's looking after him during the day. That means he still was exclusively breastfed, even though in the bottle. But that made me feel a bit better, because I was like, well, at least, you know, he's remembering me through that. So yeah, if you guys have gone through this, if you guys have gone back to work after maternity leave, like, how do you overcome the anxiety? How do you overcome the feeling of like, I'm not good enough, or I have gone backwards, I've forgotten. I genuinely feel like I've forgotten everything. Like, how do you forget everything after a year? I feel like I've forgotten everything. I feel like I don't know where to go, what to do, what to say. So yeah, if you have gone through that, I would love to hear like what you did and like what you'd advise, I guess. It's been a month now, and I think I'm over the worst of like the worry, but it's still there, and I'm sure it'll get worse over time, just because I feel like the longer I'm at work, the older my son gets, the more I feel like I'm missing out on that side, and the more I feel like I'm not like 100% on this side. So yeah, let me know your thoughts. I hope that you enjoyed this video. It's a bit of a chatty one, a bit of a longer one. I definitely want to talk about my maternity year and sort of what I did, not that much, what I did, what I expected, what actually happened. And I'm sure that if you've had a child in the past couple of months, you've probably been through something similar. We are all together in this. The only thing we can do is support each other. But yeah, do leave me a comment, let me know what your thoughts are on what I've been talking about today, and let me know what else you want me to talk about motherhood wise. I never know like what to film motherhood wise. I'm just like, I could do a vlog, but I'm just at home all day. So let me know what you want to talk about in terms of that side of things, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.